Welcome to the Lyric Tools tutorial. Lyric Tools is an app created with Google Script that can run on a Google Doc like the one you see in the video here. This is a lyric called Soul Searchin', and we're going to demonstrate this app. So the first thing to do is to get it. We go up to extensions and add-ons, get add-ons, and we can search in here with the word lyric. Hit enter. Lyric Tools shows up here. So we're going to click on that and see a little bit of information about it. We're going to install it. And in the installation process, the first thing you have to do is to enable the app. So we're going to read through this. Privacy policy, terms of service. Those are actually going to be accessed in a second from the app. These are what this code can do. See, edit, create, and delete only the specific Google Drive files you use with this app. It's not designed to delete. It is designed to see, edit, and create. View and manage documents that this application has been installed in. Connect to an external service. And we'll show you those. Those are web pages, helpful web pages. See the country, language, and time zone. Display and run third-party web content, prompts, and sidebars. And we're going to show you that in a second as well. So we're going to allow all that. So we've successfully installed it. And we can close this screen down. And we're going to go up to the history tab here and the view tab, and we're going to reload this page. And when we do that, you'll see a series of icons here. As the developer, this is my development icon. You see the same icon up here. This is actually the user icon to access the app. If you don't see any icons over here, if what you see is just this with this downward facing arrow, then click it and you will see the icons. You might also notice that if this is closed, you can't see it either. This caret down here. So make sure that's facing right. Those are the only things you kind of have to worry about. Okay, so these other icons that you see here are other apps that we've created, and these are Google programs up here. You can recognize some of them like Contacts, Calendar. So we're going to click the icon for Lyric Tools, which is the feather. And the first thing we're going to do is README, and that actually takes you to the website. We're going to demonstrate all this, but if you ever wanted to get back to, if you forgot what Remove Chords does and how it does it, you can always come back here. At the bottom down here, you'll see terms of service and the privacy policy, so if you want to read through those are there. You'll notice that we have four basic categories here: Lyric Sheet, Writer Resources, Formatting Tools, and Lyric Tools App Info. You'll also see a bunch of icons after each one of these lines. Anything that has a pencil next to it can edit this document. Anything that has a link next to it takes you out to something, and we're going to demonstrate all that a little bit later. But the starting point here with Lyric Tools is to get a template so that your lyric sheet ends up looking more or less like this. This is a 2-column landscape lyric. We've also got, if you want to just do it portrait, if it's just a straight down. This approach is helpful if you ever look at your lyric sheets on, for instance, an iPad. If you're performing, you can get the whole thing in the screen easier sometimes. So it's up to you which one of these you want to use, but let's first of all get them. So we're going to click the Get Lyric Template. Now, I've already set mine up, but when you click that, it will present to you a couple of screens, and you just follow the instructions there, and you'll get those. Once you've got lyric templates, then you can create, if you're writing a new song, let's say you want to create a portrait lyric. My wife pronounces it portrait. I pronounce it portrait. Let's call this new song. And you can put your songwriter name in there. I'll just put my initials. Let's call this new one column. Song. Hopefully you're a better typer than I am. So it takes that template and creates a song out of it. So we're going to open that and take a look at it. And you can see that it's just placeholders. And you'll notice that everything that's in a verse or bridge, we kind of give you some ideas of how you should format your songs. This format we're using here where it's all caps, and then we've got we don't say verse 1, verse 2. We only identify the chorus and the bridge. The rest of it is this is sort of an industry thing that you'll find in Nashville, for instance, where they give minimal identification, and then rather than write the whole course out, if they're all the same, you just go repeat course, and that way you can get the most information on the least amount of space. So that's kind of what we're indicating here. You just select this and you start typing in your lyric, and you want to do it in all caps. Now, I made a mistake here and I did it in the lowercase, so we could actually fix that, and that's one of the cool things about Lyric Tools. We've got this all caps thing. So if we select that text and go to all caps, it just changed it. And that's a lot faster than going to format, text, dragging over here to capitalization. It's just a faster way to do all that. So you can put your first verse in there like that, and then your chorus. Let's go ahead and hit caps lock. And then you can just go ahead and put that in there. Put your second verse down here, repeat chorus, write a bridge, etc. All right, now this is what the 2-column setup looks like. New 2-column, writers BT. Open the new document, and you'd want to go up here. It'll put the real name, and it also names the document. This is the same as the title of the song. So this is just the way that looks. All right, now let's look at some other stuff here. Let's go to the links first of all. These are a bunch of tools, like rhymes, synonyms. This takes you to a rhyming dictionary that we've created called WikiRhymer. Let's close these up, get these out of the way here. Synonyms, it just takes you to a synonym finder. Chord identification is a really powerful site called Olimo, and there's various tunings here. You can have standard tuning. You see it changed it up here, and any chords you put in there, you can see that identifies as an A minor. And you can use custom tunings, like this is Open D right here, and this is another tuning I use where I'm actually got a capo that's at the 4th fret covering the 6th through 5th string, and then I leave the first string open, and with my guitar, since I tune things down a half step, this so you can, these are infinitely adjustable. You just hit the edit here, go up and down however you want. You can change these, apply that, and it'll show up here. So that's a really helpful thing for finding chords. Another thing here is scales. This is one of the best little cheat sheets we found for identifying scales. If you're in the key of C and you want to know what the 4 chord is in C, it's an F, 5 chords a G, etc. That may come in useful to you. And then let's say you wanted to write a song called Soul Searching here. Gee, I wonder if anybody ever wrote that before I go waste a bunch of time. And so these are a bunch of links to research titles. So let's put Soul Searching in here. Oh, Glenn Frey. Probably a pretty big song. So do I want to write that? Well, yeah, I probably do. But maybe I want to see exactly how Glenn Frey wrote it so I don't stomp on him. So let's go back here and let's go and look up the lyric. There it is right there. Rodney Crowell's got one too. These may all be the same song. Anyway, this is something that you might want to go through. I think Jack Temchin also was one of the writers on Running on Empty. Anyway, these are research tools. You use them however you want to. And then all these tools down here are for formatting, the all caps, lowercase, title case. And we're going to get into this superscript thing when we talk about chords. You notice that I've got chords that are embedded in here. We talk about if you want to quickly remove chords or transpose chords, you're going to have to format them in a certain way. And this little thing explains that. Put them in brackets. And it's usually easier to read chords when you use superscript like this. And let's look at an example of that. If you had a chord like let's say you had a 6 chord with a 7th in it. If you just wrote 6 and 7 next to each other, it's kind of confusing. But if you wrote 6 and then you superscripted the 7, then that's typically the way you would do it, like this 6/9, the 6/9 here. It's just a lot easier to understand what that's all about. So what can you do with these chords? Well, you can see that these are in numbers. Maybe you don't understand Nashville numbers. That's another whole topic. So this might be the way I format my chords, but it's not the way you want to do yours. So you can actually go in here and transpose this. And this explains a little bit about that. So we're going to click the transpose, and we're going to go from numbers. Let's say we know that this particular song is in the key of D. So it changed that 1 add 9 to a D add 9, and it changes all the rest of these. And it's smart enough to know not, for instance, it changed that 1 to a D, but it's not going to change that 6, because it's just going to change the actual root of the chord. And then if we decided, okay, well, we really don't want D, now that we've got it into D, let's go to A flat. So it's going to make all those changes again. Now notice when it did that, it took the superscript out of there. If we wanted to put that superscript back in, if one of these chords didn't look quite right, wasn't clear what was going on here, let's close this sidebar, open back up again. We could go into that sus there, and we could superscript it. So there we go. That puts it. Now it's, if you know that holding down Option Command and hitting the period is how you do superscript, well then by all means, that's on a Mac, by all means do it that way. But since a lot of people don't use superscript very much, we just made it easier to do that. And if you wanted to put it back to reverse that superscript, just the same process there, sticks it back down again. Let's say you're in the writing stage and you're like, this line sucks. I can write a better line than that. Put your cursor at the end of the line and delete the whole line. Just a fast way to, that's a function that doesn't even exist in Google Docs. You can undo it the way you would normally undo it. Puts it back in with just a key command. Or if you just want to delete a line, put it at the end of the line. Excuse me, I didn't want to delete that. I want to talk about delete a word. That just gets rid of the word chorus. So that's what all these tools are all about. This covers the app info here. It takes you to the website. And these two terms of service and privacy policy, research, scales, core identification, synonyms, rhymes. Now, let's say you've got a table like this, but you don't want a table anymore. You just want it. You want it in one column. Well, that's what this thing does. If you do a normal process here of clicking in a table, right click to get and delete the table, it gets rid of all the text, and we don't want to do that. We just want to get rid of the table. So we programmed a way that you can go delete table, and it keeps everything, just gets rid of the table itself. Now let's say you made a mistake and that D flat's not a D flat. Let's say it is let's find that D flat. Whoops. And let's make it a D flat sus4. And we know we're going to make that superscript. We can do that here. And we're going to replace all. So now where all those D flats were is now a D flat sus4. Guess there was only one of them, so it's not as good an example. Let's do a better one. Let's find this. And let's change that to just a regular old D flat. So that blew all those out. So that's a really handy way to be able to change chords if you make a mistake throughout a whole song. You can always undo any of these kind of changes by just doing the undo. Or there's always the ability to go back in time and revert to earlier process. And that's just part of what's built into the Google Docs capability. So I think we've covered them all now. Get your templates, make new lyric. Anytime you want to make a new lyric, you use these. You can find and replace chords. You can remove. Oh, this removes them all together. Let's say we decided we wanted to give this to a publishing company or whatever. We don't really want to goop it up with the chords, so we can just, if we formatted the chords in accordance with our chord formatting instructions here, we can click this, and now the chords are just gone. Undo to put them back again. So that's how you find and replace them, remove them, transpose them, get rid of the table. go to these various resources, reformat things, delete words or lines, and all of our app info. So that's how Lyric Tools works. I hope it is useful for you.